Find the antiderivative of 5x cubed minus 2x minus 4 over x to the fifth plus 5 times the square root of x dx. So we're going to integrate this term by term, but to start, what we need to do is rewrite things so that we can use the power rule. So before I do my antiderivative, I'm just going to go through each term and rewrite it in an easier form to work with. This middle one here, I'm going to leave as is. I'll explain in a moment as to why I'm going to leave this one as the way it is. Then this one I will make 4x to the negative fifth, so bring the negative power up. And the last one I will rewrite as x to the 1/2 power. Now I'm going to go through and integrate term by term. So this first term is just a polynomial term. It's pretty straightforward. You add 1 to your exponent, so that becomes x to the 4th power, and then divide by the new exponent. This next term, what happens here is a little bit tricky. You just have to memorize this rule. So if I go off to the side and show you here, I could have changed this into negative 2 times x to the negative 1st dx. But if I try to use the power rule, then what happens is x to the negative 1, I add 1 to that exponent, which becomes x to the 0 over 0. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So this doesn't actually work here. What we have to do instead is just remember the rule that the integral of 1 over x dx is equal to the natural log of the absolute value of x. Now, when you enter this into your homework, it doesn't accept just absolute values. You have to write things as functions, so you'd need to write natural log of absolute x like this. You can use the bars. However, you can also write it as natural log of absolute of x, because this makes the absolute value a function rather than a notation. Either one of those two forms should be just fine. But what that means is this term right here becomes the constant negative 2 times the natural log of the absolute value of x. Next, I have negative 4 times, so negative 5 plus 1, add 1 to that exponent would be negative 4 over negative 4. Then plus 5 times x to the 1/2. When I add 1 to that exponent, it becomes x to the 3/2 over 3/2, and finally plus c. So going through and just cleaning things up, I can rewrite this as 5/4 x to the 4th power minus 2 natural log, and as I said in your homework, make sure you type in the natural log with parentheses around your argument. The negative 4's here cancel to a positive 1, so this will just become plus, and x to the negative 4th would be 1 over x to the 4th. Then 5 divided by 3/2 is the same thing as 5 times 2/3, and 5 times 2/3 would be 10/3. So this will be plus 10/3 x to the 3/2 plus c.